In this program, futurist Bill Potter challenges the traditions of selling.
In fact, I believe that selling, or sales, has become a cult. Relationship selling, well, that's half right. Relationships, I'm into relationships just like I guess you are. But selling, I'm not sure about that. In fact, I believe that selling, or sales, has become a bit of a cult. You know, with all its trappings and concepts and gurus and rituals. And to some degree, I think it's dehumanized that relationship between two people who are trying to complete a business transaction. And so, thinking about that, I've decided to share just three things with you. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce you to something a little bit new, a little bit futuristic. It's called the Business Exchange Partnership. And that comes from my Partner Dynamics Initiative program, which I like to think of as the unselling alternative. Secondly, I'd like to compare some of the words and terminology that we use in the sales area and compare that with some of the new age options, because I believe that some of the wording used in the sales area is not helpful to relationships. And thirdly, and just think about this for a moment, according to public opinion polls, salespeople aren't ranked that high. So we just want to have a quick look at your status in the sales area. I think it could be quite revealing. So on behalf of your organization, and of course your sales manager, you've got to do something magic which you call prospecting. And the neat thing about prospecting is that you have ways of finding hapless prospects like me. And you have ways of identifying me. And once you've identified me, you seek me out. And once you've sought me out, you actually do something interesting like qualify me. And once I'm qualified, I get the chance to be with you. And I get this feeling that I'm either going to be treated like a mouse, and you'd have these wonderful little thrills of pawing at me and having a go at me until finally you've satisfied your sales lust, or even worse, you treat me like someone who looks like this, who has absolutely no way of doing anything without your help. But you see, even worse, you make this presentation. I try to find some objections, but you override them, and suddenly I'm closed. Then you grab the money and run. Well, I mean, not you neat folks out there. I mean, you wouldn't do that, would you? Would you? Well, hello. Just before we kind of end here, I want to refer you to a Time Morgan poll that was taken in the middle of this year. And it was to ask about the 21 occupations that people thought had the best ethics and the greatest amount of honesty. And shucks, the salespeople did poorly again. There is a message there somewhere. If we're going to be professionals and we're proud of the success that we strive for, why are the rest of the public not yet convinced? And I think we're going to have a few relationship problems unless we kind of fix that. So I suggest to you, why don't we just work a little harder on a new business relationship model? I say, let's design one locally. Let's have our own model and let's export it to the rest of the world. Let's do that. And I challenge you to come up with some new ideas, write the new book, create the new program, change the world. What do you reckon? I reckon it would be wonderful. So there. So in closing, I mentioned that ugly word, closing. Sorry. At the end, I'd just like to remind you again that we've had a look at an alternative model, an alternative relationship business model. We've looked at some alternative ways of expressing ourselves. And if we look at alternative ways of expressing ourselves, that means we will always have the possibility of behaving slightly differently. And if we behave slightly differently, I think the results can be different and desperately rewarding. It's a little role reversal, but I think you'll enjoy it if you let your potential partners have a bit of a say in their own future, in their own lives, their own purchases, their own business dynamics. And then at the end of that, if you do it well, you will not just finish up with a customer, you will finish up with a business buddy. I know that sounds corny, but a business buddy sounds a lot better than a good customer.
I think it sounds like it's about time. I like the way Bill referred to our perennial salesperson as a business opportunities advisor. I think the point that you were getting at, Bill, was that if you call it business opportunities, two people have got the opportunity to create rapport with each other, rather than the old way of looking at it is, I as the salesperson foresight.
It becomes an action-reaction thing, which means we can never share it. You have come to supposedly sell me something. I can respond by buying or not buying and refusing to buy. So it's an equal thing. Now, if we are into a slightly changed philosophy where we get some equality, I don't consider myself a salesperson coming to you. I say, between us, there must be this thing called a business opportunity. And we can both relate to that, because we can both do business, but both of us can't sell together, in fact.
That point, you've won me over. I mean, I can see if I keep saying that I'm a salesperson, I'm going to keep doing things the way I've always done them. And to have a new attitude and a new mindset, I have to see myself as a different person. So the words are really worth changing to change the way I change.
There's at least 40 words already. I've already attended to at least 40 words already.
Good point. I'm with you. You've won me over.